How does this OCR tool work? Well, from the slide there, we can see that what we do is we identify what we're calling OCR domains, major segments of the organization. You'll see this by way of an example a little few minutes from now. Then from those domains, those major segments, we break them down into sub-segments, which we're calling subdomains. Okay? We then develop capacity statements to represent each subdomain. Then from there, the participants then are able to respond to the capacity statements. The statements may, in some cases, be framed in form of a question, or it can just be a statement. Okay. So the response can be a yes or no response. Do we have a vision statement? Yes or no? Okay, that could be the response. But it is possible also to structure the statements in such a way that the participants are able to score between, say, 0 and 4 to determine the extent to which that statement may be true. So if we say, do we have a very clear and written vision statement? Well, the vision statement may be written but maybe not so clear, or the vision statement may be there but not written. So instead of a yes or no answer, then you may score out of 4, you may say we are at 2 because we have a vision statement, but maybe because it's not written, we are not yet where we would like to be, which is 4. Comments are generally included for each response. We are interested in knowing why things are where they are and what it is that may be holding us back, because when we move forward to the improvement plan, we want to know what to do about a particular situation. So the template that we'll be using has a section to allow for comments, because as we are scoring, or as we are saying yes or no, we'll be giving reasons why we think it's a yes, it's a no, why we think it's a 1, 2, 3, or 4. From the slide there, we can see how the whole process works. We have OCR domains there, just examples of possible OCR domains that could be used. Leadership capacity, management and operational capacity, service delivery capacity, and so on. Those are the main components of the OD process that we're examining. But then you can have also subdomains. So under leadership and leadership capacity, you have vision and mission, you have leadership and governance, strategy and planning, culture and values. You can have even more. So then we have a main domain with subdomains. Then from these we develop capacity statements. So I've just picked out one there, one domain, leadership capacity, and we have used the subdomains to develop capacity statements. So the first one, for instance, is the network has developed clear vision and mission. That's a capacity statement. The second one is vision statement describes the future that the network intends to achieve, and so on. There are capacity statements that we have there. And for each capacity statement, you notice that there's an option to put a Y for yes on the left side there, or to put an N for no on the right side, depending on the response from the participants. And usually these responses generate discussion, and it's from the discussion that you pick out what will be inserted in the comments or remarks section there. These comments and remarks are important because they point us to what may need to be done to improve our organization. If you're using a method of scoring, you need to maybe possibly use what I'm showing there on the screen there. You have a choice to score from 0 to 4, but what we have done is we have segmented the organization into different stages of growth. You have the startup phase or stage, you have the developing stage, you have the expanding or consolidating stage, and you have the sustaining stage. So when you give a score, you're actually also indicating at what point the organization is as far as that capacity statement is. Okay, so if you gave a 1.5, for instance, because you can even give those kinds of fraction, even 1.25 or 1.75, that's possible. Then you're saying that we are, as far as this statement is concerned, we're in the developing stage, And maybe if we are 1.25, then we are just beginning the development stage. If we are at 1.75, we're heading towards the end of the developing stage, and so on. If you have a perfect 4, it means things are where they should be as far as that capacity statement is concerned. Okay. The beautiful thing about scoring is that you can develop a chart that shows the different bars for each area. Once you sum up the scores for each capacity, each domain, you actually average out the different scores from the different statements, and then from there you can plot a chart like the one showing on the screen there, where you can show as far as the board is concerned, this is where we are. As far as the mission is concerned, we are at this stage, and so on. The beautiful thing about plotting is that it is visual. It has no language. It doesn't matter the education level. The participants can actually see where they are against where they could be. They could even begin to aspire to move along on that chart. And when you come and do an evaluation later on, you can actually come and insert where you now are against where you were previously. By just using a different color, you can show that the black is where we were the last time, and the extension of the red is where we are now. So the red shows the movement that has taken place between the last evaluation or the last assessment and now. So what are the benefits of conducting an OCA? Firstly, and probably most important, is that it helps establish a baseline, a starting point, okay, against which you can compare yourself as you move forward. In fact, I recommend that even when an organization is just starting out, they still do an OCA. Of course, many of the parameters or subdomain areas will have zeros or will have no's because not much would have happened. But even that is useful because you're establishing a starting point. We were at 0. And 6 months later, I recommend an OCA is repeated because within that period, a lot would have been done. So what may have been no's or zeros would have moved to a better place. And because of that, you will be able to demonstrate that you have actually made real progress. And that is the progress that you want to showcase to your stakeholders, your prospective funders, the members of the organization, and others that may possibly work with you, because you're showing them that you have moved from one particular point to another within a period of 6 months. So because of that, an OCA is relevant even for an organization that is just starting. Okay. An OCA also helps an organization know what to focus on as it moves forward. There are many parts of an organization that need attention. By conducting an assessment, you identify those that are in greater need of attention and those that could possibly wait. That way, as we will see later on, you're able to prioritize and know how you plan your interventions. And OCA helps communicate the state of affairs to your external stakeholders. You become clearer at helping external actors know where you are. There are those that are hoping that certain things will be working well. You can demonstrate that. There are those that are coming in to actually come and help you improve parts of your organization. Again, you're able to point them to areas that need external support. While for others, you can show them the things that are working well, because maybe that is what they may be looking for to see if they can partner with you. And OCA also helps clearly demonstrate progress made after interventions have been implemented. Because once you do an OCA and you identify areas that need intervention, well, you're going to design some interventions. And by the time you do the next OCA, you'll be able to see whether the interventions have moved you from where you were previously to where you are now. So there's a sense of attribution that can come in because you have 2 points at which you have undertaken an OCA. As I conclude, I just want to show you this slide which has my contact details and that for my colleague Dale. If there's anything that you want to follow up on, please feel free to contact me or Dale on the contact details provided. For those that may need more information on some of the aspects that have been highlighted, there will be a webinar, there will be a WhatsApp group that we'll be using, and also there'll be some notes to be shared. So please, let's keep in touch and see how we can continue to work together. Asante sana.